Hi, welcome to this companion video to my one on writing a paper in APA format. In this video, I'm walking you through the template I made in Microsoft Word to make writing a APA format paper easier. It's specifically tailored towards lab reports, but it is adaptable to other sorts of research papers and APA papers in general. If you're looking for more broad advice on how to tackle these sorts of writing assignments, check out the main video that's linked in places, assuming I get the timing correct. They'll be in the description no matter what. I'm going to share these files through my fourth wall store because you do not want to use these on the online version of Microsoft Word. It'll just break everything real quick. You want to download it and do it as a local version because all the formatting stuff goes right out the window. And also, it is on my fourth wall store. It'll be free. So there is a verbose version that has descriptions and commentary and instructions on how to do the various things, and also like a cleaner version that has most of that deleted out. So it's a lot easier to just get going with. So again, if you download and do it as a local copy, you stand a much better chance of all of the automation I've tried to build into the document surviving. If you do it online, all bets are off. You have been warned. So we're just going to go through the document as it's written, and I'm going to point out a couple things along the way, like about format or how to do things. So we will go through how to insert a table, how to handle captions, inserting figures, but don't feel like you have to furiously scribble down notes on this. This is all described in the verbose version. I'll mention this right at the start. This little notification thing is letting us know that this template is stripping out your personal information when you save it. So it's not going to have your name or anything attached to the document. So if you need that, change this setting. Otherwise, I'm just going to close this so it's not there anymore. Alrighty, so the APA format document starts with the title page, and this is the student version. So you have your full paper title name in bold and centered, blank line, your name, your school, the course information, instructor name, and due date. If your instructor doesn't want the student version, you just get rid of those two lines and whatever date you're handing it in. This is also a good time to address a header since we're on the first page, as editing it on later pages can lead Word to interpret that as being a change you only want to happen on the later pages. And have I mentioned how much I prefer LaTeX? Because seriously, Microsoft, what are you doing? To get into the header editor, double click on the text up there and change what you need to, but be careful because it really wants to get rid of the page numbers. So bad. And you're supposed to have this on the same line, and getting this to happen on the same line it took a lot of work. So, pro tip, type your changes in the middle, and then delete over to the side, and then delete to the other side. And that way you haven't messed with the page number. Up next on a new page, we have the abstract with the abstract title centered and in bold, like all section titles. Unlike the rest of the text in the document, the abstract isn't indented, so it's all left aligned, and I don't know why APA is doing that, but it is. And we go down to another new page, and we're seeing other pages. That's fun. Ugh. Okay, so we have the full paper title in the center and in bold again, just like all section headers, so I'm going to stop saying it. And now is probably a good time to talk about the reference manager, so I'll stick the cursor there, and you get to the reference manager by going up to references on the top and then manage sources. We'll scoot that into view. I have a couple example references in here already, but you can absolutely add the ones that you need for your paper. And I haven't fully played around with Word much since I added this, but I'm assuming the master list is saved somewhere with your Microsoft account, and then the current list is just what you're using for this paper. So you don't have to have your entire biography in every single paper. You can just copy out of your master list into the current list. And I think if you add, it'll also add it to the master list, I think. And to add a new one, you just click new and go through the fun little wizard. You probably need to show all the bibliography fields because, yeah, that's not quite full APA format. So go through, put in the authors. You'll note to separate them, it has it in this format. So last name, comma, first name, initial, semicolon to separate them, and then however many authors. Down here, we have the tag, and that's what it will be the little name it has to be saved as. The general convention that I've adopted for this is the first author's last name and the year. And that also helps you learn the papers pretty well. All right, to use these in text, let's close out of here. You just click Insert Citation, and you pick your citation from this little drop-down list. So bam, now we have it referenced in text. And correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but it seems to default to the entirely parenthetical format, where you have the parentheses and then the author and the year. So if you want to have this sort of like I have this up here, where it's the poorly selected last name and the year in the parentheses, you click on the thing, and then you click on the arrow, and then you convert it to static text, and you're able to edit it that way. It's could be better, but it works. I think it's worth going through the extra hassle because it'll make your life a little bit easier when you're having to do the references page at the end. Going down, we see the first subsection headings. And these are left aligned and in bold, and I'll just mention again, delete this section. It's just explaining what I've got in the method, so make sure you delete this. And ooh, subsection headings. Part of the reason to go through all the trouble of setting up this stuff is you don't have to keep redoing the format every single time. Like if we need a third level, like a subsection, just go heading 3 and now we have a subsection, all the formats ready to go. This will help make an outline happen easier, table of contents, all of these things, because you're using the automation that Word has. If we keep going, we have an example table. And let me just say, for as much as I shit on Word, they handle this so much better than Google Docs. Okay, so let's go through the process. So we go insert on the menu ribbon thingy, table, and then let's make sure a 3x2 table. And you can see that it's trying to make it as wide as the entire page. And you can change the number of rows and columns and stuff later, but it's easiest if you get it right the first time. So to get the width back down to a reasonable size, we're going to go to layout up here, and then see the cell size, the width. If we crank that down, it'll change the width of all the cells, and so makes it smaller, and then we just need to center this puppy. So bam, it's centered. Throw some text in here. So to give this table its caption, we go to the References tab, and oh no, there's a kitty. So References tab, and then Insert Caption. Oh no. Insert, oh, it's right in front of me. Insert Caption. And then we pick the table setting, because there's a couple different ones. Tables go above the selected item instead of below. Figures go below, and that is the caption. And then we can add all of the blah, blah, blah that we need to do after just by typing it in right here. And you will note that I didn't have to say that this is table 2. The automation of Word handled that for me. And with that automation, you can use Word to handle referring to it in text, but if you're just doing this for a lab class, you can just do it by hand. It's not the end of the world, and for a lab class, it's quicker. For a dissertation or a thesis or something, then you probably should invest the time in figuring out how to do it. Alrighty, down in the results section, we have a figure. Ooh, figure. So to get a figure in text, we're gonna stick it after. You would go insert, and then pictures, probably from your device, and just stick it in here. So look at that, I have a picture. So inserting a figure, that's when all hell can break loose. Word can be a bit twitchy with figures in text. That's what drove me to learn LaTeX in the first place. Yes, go Team LaTeX if you want. Sweater, merch store. Woo. I wrote my master's thesis in Word, and on one page there were 2 figures, 7 and 8, same page. And at some point, for whatever reason, it flipped. So figure 7 was on the bottom, figure 8 was on top, but the captions were still 7 and 8. I could not get them to change back. I tried so many different things, and eventually figure 7 just disappeared. Just gone. But not completely gone, because it was still acting like it was there. Like I was using the automated captions, so it was still, there was a figure 7 somewhere, just not there. So I tried to find it, I tried to fix it, and eventually what I had to do was copy and paste page by page the text from the version with the figure 7 just fucked off into a blank version. And eventually I did find figure 7. It was several pages later, hidden behind the text in such a way where it wasn't fucking visible at all. This whole process took hours. Even just the copying and pasting took like half a day to make sure the formatting was correct and the things were going where they're supposed to. And oh my god, there's no way I'm doing this for something that's going to be more complicated like a dissertation. No fucking way. I am learning LaTeX. No. So let's talk about inserting figures into Word. Seriously though, it has gotten better in the intervening time since then. Better. Still not great, but it's better. Okay, in any case, we have our figure inserted from the Insert tab, and now we need to tweak its settings. So, probably need to resize it smaller, which is straightforward enough. Just drag in the corner. Note if you drag in the side, it's going to do weird perspective thingies, so just make sure you're dragging a corner. So to make sure that text is wrapping how we want it to, we need to click on that little button on the layout for where it's doing, and see it's trying to put it in line with text. That's not what we want. We want the lines going above and below the macaroni noodle. And so click that and it'll get the text wrapping as it should. And then you have to decide if you want to move with text or be in a fixed position on the page. And yeah, you can try either. I'm not sure which is most ideal, but Godspeed. To give it a caption, you do the same thing as you did with the table. So references, insert caption, and this time we're going to do a figure, which means that it needs to go below. And so this is going to be figure 2. Cool. And again, we can just type out the whatever we're going to say here. And it looks like the last thing to do or to talk about is the references page, which again starts on a new page after the discussion. Even if there's loads of white space, it still goes on a new page. You can try to get this to refresh for you. So like update, and hopefully it updates for you. But if that doesn't work, we just delete it and delete it. There we go. And then you would insert a bibliography and pick the one with references, because that's what we call it in Psych. Boom. That is my APA format Word template. I hope it serves you well, should you choose to use it. Go LaTeX. Bye.